Hey guys! I see you've clicked on this video. So you want to learn basic Filipino phrases? What are we waiting for? Let's start! Let's start with the greetings. How do we say good morning in Filipino? We say Magandang Umaga. Stress on the third syllable. So you have to say it like Magandang Umaga and stress on ma. Maganda means beautiful or good, while umaga means morning. So it's Magandang Umaga. Next one, if you want to say good noon, it's Magandang Tanghali. Stress on dang, Magandang Tanghali. Tanghali is noon. Next, Magandang Hapon. Hapon is the late afternoon. Don't say Magandang Hapon. Be careful with the stress, because Hapon means Japan or Japanese. So if you say Magandang Hapon, that would mean like a pretty Japanese. So it should be Magandang Hapon for late afternoon. If you get confused with which greeting to use, you can say Magandang Araw, which means good day. Araw means day or sun, like the sun up there. So good day is Magandang Araw. Next one, for good evening and good night, we say Magandang Gabi. Stress on B. Don't say Magandang Gabi. That's wrong, because in Philippines, gabi is a kind of vegetable. So, if you say Magandang Gabi, that's gonna be a pretty vegetable, which is not related to this topic. So, good evening is Magandang Gabi. So, how do we respond to these greetings? We add the word naman. You can say Magandang Umaga naman, Magandang Tanghali naman, or Magandang Araw naman. You can also reply by adding po, which is the word we add to sentences and phrases to be more polite. When we're talking to people who are much older than us, we can add po. So, if you want to greet somebody and you want to be very polite, it should be Magandang Umaga po. You can respond by saying Magandang Umaga naman po, or Magandang Gabi naman po, or Magandang Hapon naman po. You just need to add po. Now, if we want to ask how a person is doing, we would say in English, how are you? But in Filipino, we will say, Kumusta ka? Kumusta ka means, how are you? You can say, Kumusta kayo if you're talking to more than one person or you're asking about more than one person. Because kayo is you, but in plural form. But most of the time, we only say Kumusta because it's shorter. And it means the same thing. It's still, how are you? If you want to be polite, you just add po. Kumusta po. How do we respond to this question? Most of the time, we just say Mabuti, which means good or you're fine. You can say Mabuti po to be more polite. Or if you want to say the opposite of Mabuti, you just add the word hindi. Stress on di. Hindi. Don't say hindi, it should be hindi. So you say hindi mabuti. That means not good. And how about to our friends? What do we say to our friends? You can say, Kumusta pangit? Pangit means ugly. I'm kidding. Don't say that to your friends. Or maybe you want to. Or maybe you should. No, I'm kidding. Kumusta pangit? You can also use kumusta if you're asking about how things are. You just say, Kumusta ang, fill in the blank. For example, you can say, Kumusta ang panahon? That's, how's the weather? Or, Kumusta ang laro? How was the game? Kumusta ang pamilya mo? How is your family? Or if you want to ask about specific places, you can say, Kumusta ang Pilipinas? Kumusta ang New York? Now next, how do we say thank you? We say salamat. Stress on the second syllable. Salamat. Don't say salamat. That's the wrong stress. That rhymes with the word alamat, which means legend, which is not related to this topic. Again, how do we say thank you? Salamat. You can also say maraming salamat. Marami means many, much, or a lot. So by saying maraming salamat, it means thank you very much. You can also say maraming salamat po to be more polite. How do we respond to this? We say walang anuman, which means something like no worries, or don't mention it, or that was nothing. Walang anuman. How do you introduce yourself? If I want to say I am Nelli, I would say ako si Nelli. If you want to say my name is Nelli, you would say ang pangalan ko ay Nelli. Pangalan means name. Pangalan, stress on the second syllable. That's pangalan. Ang pangalan ko ay... Now, how do we say yes or no? In Filipino, we say oo or hindi. If you want to be more polite, you can say opo or hindi po. Be careful with the stress. It's not hindi. It should be hindi. Stress on the second syllable. How do we use this? Example, if somebody asks, are you hungry? In Filipino, that is, gutom ka ba? You can respond by saying, oo, which means yes, or hindi, which means no. Next, how do we say that you have something or you don't have something? We use the word Mayroon. Sometimes it's spelled and pronounced as Mayroon or Meron, which means you have, he has, or something exists. That's Mayroon. The opposite is wala. It means nothing. Wala. The stress is on the last syllable. Wala. Examples. If somebody asks, do you have a pencil? In Filipino, pencil is lapis. So the question would be, may lapis ka ba? You can respond by saying meron if you have it, or wala if you don't have a pencil. Sometimes we also respond by saying oo, meron, which means yes, I have. Another question. If you want to threaten somebody, you can say, do you have a problem? In Filipino, that would be, may problema ka ba? Because the other person would be very scared, he would answer by saying, wala, which means nothing. Wala tol. Wala pare. Wala pre. And in Filipino, this tol, pare or pre, it's something like bro or dude. There, I hope you learned some very important phrases in Filipino. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you again. Bye! Paalam! Hanggang sa muli!